Hello everyone, welcome to our Q&A webinar on application modernization. So there are numerous reasons to modernize legacy applications and some of them are business agility, security, flexibility and competitive differentiation. There are some of the biggest challenges that customers face in deciding when to modernize and how to modernize their applications. So, based on the inputs received from our customers, we are going to discuss our short discussion on application modernization questions and answer. I am Deepti Singh, Senior Market Research Analyst at Successive Technologies, and today we have Sapna with us, who is our cloud expert working on emerging technologies and deciding cloud business strategy and growth. She has an extensive experience in building and modernizing applications for our customers. So, thank you, Sapna, for this discussion. And what are your thoughts on application modernization?
Yeah, thanks Deepti for organizing this, and hello everyone. So, in my terms, like I have seen, like lot of organizations are rapidly moving towards this digital transformations, and the major goal here is to be up to date with the market and to innovate new things. And what I have seen today is the biggest challenge they face is understanding these kind of terminologies, like what is DevOps practice, what is this microservice, when to use microservices, when to use serverless architecture, and when they need to go ahead with their monolithic system. So here is the major need of modernizing their applications.
Okay. So let's get started with the first question that we have received from our customer. So Sapna, one of our customers is asking that today large enterprises are aware that digital transformation can't succeed without a good strategy for handling legacy application modernization. So do you think that application modernization is the key to unlock value of digital transformation?
Yes, I think so. As far as the response that we have received from our customers in digital transformation, this application modernization plays a vital role. And but the need that I have seen from our customer is more towards they want to keep their legacy system, but they want to utilize the latest trend that are in market or whatever services that are available in the cloud. So accordingly, we create the strategy. So strategy is the most important thing, how you want to strategize towards application modernization. So you cannot do application modernization of a legacy system in a day one, or I would say in a quarter as well. So you need to provide the best strategy first to provide them with a lift and shift of their existing legacy system, then to plan how you can modernize it based on the application scale. If it is an enterprise application, do they need to go ahead with microservices, serverless? So these kind of questions we do ask our customer first, and then we plan the strategy.
Okay, great. So our next question is related to what CXOs are thinking about application modernization and why they are focusing on organizational resilience and migrating their legacy application to modern platforms in the cloud. What do you think about this?
Okay, so I have read about like lots of surveys that are conducted. So as per the survey conducted by IDG Research, so more than 70% of CXO of global companies consider mainframe or legacy modernization a strategic business priority. When we have discussions with the CXO, they face the top three challenges with legacy system, such as integration with the new application, lack of business agility, and lack of security posture. So, if I take an example from our existing customer, so initially when we were having a conversation with their CTO, the major challenges that we saw was they had like huge amount of data that they were pulling from lot of data sources, but the underlying infrastructure that they were using, I mean, they were up to the mark. It is not like they were using very old infrastructure or that kind of thing, but the way they have utilized it, they wanted to change it because they were not able to scale it. So that's how, like that's when we started planning the application modernization for their for their legacy system. I'm not talking about the legacy infrastructure here, I'm talking about the application that were developed using the old version of the technologies, you can say, or they were using the old old core of the system.
Well, great to know about your answer. And right, they are taking right strategy to modernize their platforms. And we are going towards the next question, that how can we maximize value in the cloud that completely depends on modernizing applications, infrastructure, and data architecture.
So cloud will be your first step. So let's say if you are on premise, or if you are using cloud as well, but not in that way as I explained in my previous question. So this being into the cloud is your first step. So there are a lot of our customer who were into on premise, they were into the cloud but not actually using the cloud services very well. So the first stage that we discussed with them is mainly towards lifting and shifting their applications. If it is on premise, then we simply plan lift and shift, like map the services, map the technologies that are available in cloud, and then map accordingly. The second is they are already in cloud, but are they really using it? Let's say if one of our customer were having like 20 to 25 services that are deployed independently in some sort of containers, or I would say, let's take an example of AWS. So they were deployed in EC2, but how they are managing the orchestration and all of these kind of things like scalability, all these management. So at that time, like we introduce, okay, why don't you utilize the Kubernetes service from the same cloud, which is CKS? So we tried to move their application, and at that time we got to know, okay, some of the application require certain changes as well. So that is a small part of modernizing their application. So they changed the application a bit so that it can run in the container. So that was the first step. Whether their application is scalable within that container, we did like extensive testing. Like we provide lot of testing support as well in terms of automation, and non-functional testing like performance testing, spike testing, and these kind of things were also integrated. And that's how we got to know, okay, that this is the best thing for that application.
So I know, Sapna, that you have handled various cloud initiatives, and as you have mentioned that you have taken care of various cloud projects. So what is the successive application modernization and migration approach?
So I wouldn't say it is the approach that I'm talking about. It is only applicable to application modernization, or moving towards cloud native thing. So it is applicable to all of our customer. So whenever we start any application, we the first step we do is to understand the current state of the application. So we call it like current state assessment of the application, where we identify, okay, this is your current state. Then we understand what problem they are facing, that they reached out to us. So that means there is some problem, or any sort of solution, or any sort of consulting they are seeking from us. So in that terms, we look for their current state, and then we understand what in future they look after. It can be anything. They can let us know about the business problem, and in terms of business we provide the solution. And they can also talk about the performance. Let's say performance is not great, so we understand application from application perspective. Then from the infrastructure perspective, we take the read access, we understand the architecture. So let's say in certain cases it happens like they don't have proper architectural documentation and these kind of documents available. So in that scenario we prepare those document as well. So see, this is your current state of application, and if we do these steps, then your application will be this will be a future state of application. And those stages are not like that we provide solution that we provide a solution that will give result in a year. No, nothing like that. So we provide things in stages. So one, we will do the CSA. The second is we will move towards small issues that we can fix. The third will be the migration, actual migration. So in terms of migration, I'm not talking about cloud to cloud migration or premise to cloud migration. I'm here talking about the modernizing as well. So I'm considering that as well in terms of migration. The last stage will be the optimization. So let's say we have provided our solution. So then we perform various types of testing, and in case there are any optimization techniques, so we provide that as well. And the major benefit is we have done like lot of current state assessment. So we already have a set of solutions that already work with lot of clients, so we can easily integrate that as well, with a minimum amount of time.
Right, Sapna, that you have explained the right approach for application modernization. So our next question is related to cloud native development. So we just wanted to know, like, how can organizations accelerate app modernization using cloud native development?
Okay, so again, like, we talk with like lot of people, and along with that, just to validate like whatever we are doing, are we going in the right direction or not? So for that validating, we talk with like Gartner people as well. So while I was reading one of their research, I have seen like Gartner analysis said that more than 85% of organization will embrace a cloud first principle by 2025, and will not be able to fully execute on their digital strategies without the use of cloud native architecture and technologies. I'm not saying like we shouldn't use the on premise things. Currently, like, we are supporting like lot of on premise customers as well, with the with the basic set of DevOps and DevSecOps practice. But in order to for them to fully scale towards the latest trends or practices, or I would say a security side as well, they can move towards clouds, because cloud also provide like government or some private sector clouds as well, in case they are having certain confidential things and to store. So in that cases they can go ahead with private cloud as well. But I would suggest, and I will highly recommend moving towards cloud native practices. And if I talk about the practices that we have done or started with in terms of cloud, it was moving an application, entirely legacy application, towards Kubernetes approach, because the customer required the system to be cloud agnostic and to use the cloud services. So in that case, we went ahead with Kubernetes, because it can easily and well manage your microservices. The development, when you have a large number of development team working on the same project, and they have like multiple modules they work with, and they wanted every possible service to utilize the same set of practice. So we containerized their application and deploy those microservices into the Kubernetes. So we have like extensive experience in providing consulting towards Kubernetes. And along with that, we have experience in serverless as well. We can easily decide like when to use Kubernetes, when to use serverless system. So in if I talk about serverless architecture, one of our recent customer, we developed, or I would say we delivered the entire system using the serverless architecture. There is one more thing that is quite important. If I talk about cloud, is SRE, like site reliability engineering support. They can provide best support when we are able to automate lot of things. If I talk about monitoring, if I talk about alerting, these kind of systems can be easily, or I would say well integrated with the cloud services. And our SRE team can also provide best support when we are using things which are latest in trend, and can easily be integrated, can easily be monitored. So if I while I was talking about serverless and microservices using the Kubernetes, I would talk about SRE as well. So we have like a good team of SREs, and they provide like 24/7 support. And they are not only the support engineers, I would say they are kind of a DevOps, DevSecOps, and some of the application development knowledge they also have, because they need to maintain the entire system into the production. They need to monitor it. So the automating that kind of monitoring system is also done by our SRE team, and that can only be possible if you are more inclined towards the latest trend, which is towards the digital transformation. And the last point I would talk about here is DevSecOps. which is quite important in today's days. Like, we are automating everything that security team require into our pipeline. So that's where we talk about DevSecOps, like using some tools to scan our code, using tools, because lot of the technologies that are I would say the modern technologies that we use are open source. So when we have these open source tools and technologies, it is very important to monitor each and every version that is being deployed into your container. So for that as well, we integrate into the pipeline. Then we talk about infrastructure security, whether we are using like correct policies in order to monitor the traffic. So those are also part of DevSecOps, or I would say security engineering practices. Yeah.
Right, Kubernetes is very popular technology, and additionally, serverless microservices DevSecOps provide the complete solution for cloud native development. So our next question is related to, do you have some use cases on application modernization that you have seen in your projects?
Yeah, like we have a lot of examples, but I would pick up one which can include like a lot of areas. So one of our customer who is more towards the if I talk about the business, it is more towards the, gathering the climate and logistic data. So for that, like the problem was they have a huge amount of data. Their system was outdated, and there was one more challenge which I'm going to talk about in brief as well, which is of the skill set to modernize towards into the latest technologies. And there was one more major challenge is they don't know like what they have deployed. This was the actually the major challenge. They had like system over AWS, but they don't know like what was deployed with what configuration and at what configuration it got tested, in terms of load or spike or performance testing. So those were kind of an unknown thing. Like there was no configuration stored, the documentation, the architecture. There are a lot of areas that required improvement. So we started by proposing them. Okay, the major challenge they faced was this configuration of the infrastructure and how it got deployed. So we proposed like moving towards IAC. There are a lot of tools like CloudFormation, and because they were into multi-cloud, they were using GCP, AWS, and some sort of Azure infrastructure as well. So at that time, we proposed, okay, let's go ahead with Terraform, because it is kind of cloud agnostic. It is not part of any cloud. It provide providers for like various cloud as well. And in case any local tool that you want to deploy, and we can create Terraform modules for those as well. So we started by creating the IAC. We created the entire structure with like various availability zone as per their requirement. So that was the first step. The second was to introduce security and DevSecOps practices. As I've said in previous answers as well, like a lot of our customers are demanding to have these DevSecOps practice into the pipeline, or DevSecOps practice into their day-to-day deployments that they are doing. So which means automating those things. So we automated that as well. We are currently supporting their legacy system as well. And in case of any we are also, there is one more point that we are providing is SRE support in that. That is also working well for our customer. So that is how we started, by only modernizing the infrastructure and introducing the DevOps and DevSecOps practice. The second thing that we are currently doing, because that is a huge application, I would say, and all of the services that are written are using the old version or old terminologies. So those are, we are migrating slowly, including the supporting the legacy system, and plus modernizing it.
So most of the organizations are facing challenges with the legacy systems. So when is the right time for them to look out for application modernization? What do you think?
um, I would say there is not exactly the right time, but as you can see, the technology trend is, moving very fast. I mean, while I was working in React project, all the concepts and everything was related to Web 2. Now it is moving towards Web 3.0. So in order to support that kind of thing, we had to modernize our application. So if I talk about like legacy system, so those systems are quite independent in order to in order to integrate with the latest system. The second problem that I have seen in like lot of the legacy system that we are supporting is rapid deployment. While in terms of project management, if I talk about, we are moving towards agile and scaled agile as well. Sometime it's more towards the scrum, where we are running this sprint of 2 weeks or 10 days, like whatever is the best for project. In that kind of thing, when team is able to deliver within the 2 sprint, but our system is not supporting that release to happen in a 2 week. So in order to support that rapid deployment, we have to move towards this application modernization, where we can support the entire automation, and within the 2 weeks, if everything working fine, we can simply release it, like releasing every month, releasing every 3 weeks. So that kind of system can also be supported. So if that is the business requirement, then yes, we can move towards it. And while I was talking about the deployment, it also includes the security. When our legacy system is very huge and we do deployment in 6 months or in quarter as well, we tend to forget, okay, what are the services that I need to deploy, how they are dependent on each other. So these kind of things also we need to take care of it. But if everything is in the automation, we can simply do it. And if we are doing the rapid deployment, then we get the rapid feedback as well from our if I talk about business, then end customer can rapidly provide feedback, and we can quickly do the improvement, and that's how we grow business as well. So those kind of things. Yeah.
Right. So automation is also the key for application modernization. So you might interact with many clients for their business initiatives related to application modernization. So what kind of capabilities do they look out for in their partners?
Mainly, the main thing that they look out is someone who can provide consulting to them. What is good, what is bad, not bad, but what is the best for them as well. And the partner who can provide a strategic solution as well, considering the current market. It shouldn't be like, okay, someone who can come work on their legacy system and then deliver the task. So rather than that, they look towards who can understand end to end system, who is aware about the current system, and who can understand the legacy system, and provide these modernization strategies as well. So that kind of a skill they are looking for. And if I talk about the technologies that they look for, eh, these kind of are the different attributes. But if I talk about the technical skills, then they look towards what we call MERN, and now it is next as well. And these are the application development, along with of course .NET also released the latest version. And then we have PHP, which is also releasing all the latest version that are following all the latest trend. And along with that, if I talk about cloud, it is more towards Kubernetes based infrastructure, as it they can move to any cloud anytime they want their application. And serverless is kind of quite popular these days, as we don't need to manage anything in that. So yeah.
Great. So we are on the last question, and this is not related to application modernization. This is related to multi-cloud. So organizations are increasingly moving to multi-cloud as they believe that they can save huge cost by running their applications across different clouds. So can you share your thoughts on this, like how it works and how is your experience with multi-cloud?
If I talk about the multi-cloud experience that we had, like it is based on some of our customer, and based on the research papers that I have read. So we can get the best capabilities across the storage, networking, security, application deployment, and management platforms. And picking and selecting cloud services based on price can lower direct expenses, and we can save a huge cost. We can also do some negotiation with multiple cloud providers, and we can also get the benefit of competitive pricing, agility, resiliency. And let's say in certain cases it happened like the entire cloud provider went go down. So it recently happened with Azure. Like Azure we are heavily using, but we have seen like a lot of our application went down. If we are deploying it in multi cloud, then if our application requirement is to be up like all the time like Flipkart, Amazon, then that cases we can do go ahead with multi cloud. And there is a research as well, like as per 451 research cloud price index, the average saving is 45% by using multiple provider for simple applications like compute, storage, and bandwidth. And the global average saving is 29% by adding databases serverless in a more complex deployment. So that is the experience that I have. Like I don't have a really big huge experience using multi cloud, because this is the latest trend in the market to use the multi cloud. So based on that, like this is my finding.
Okay, so that's it. It was a great session with you. And if you have any other question, then you can connect with us and ask us in the comment section below. So if you would like to discuss your application modernization opportunity or coming business initiatives related to cloud or emerging technologies, schedule a free consultation call with one of our sales representatives. So thank you, Sapna, for your time and giving insights on key technologies.
Yeah, thanks Deepthi for organizing this. And in case you would like to know more about the application development work that we are doing, or anything in cloud, how we are selecting the technologies, and how we are, providing solutions, design, and the CSA side that I talked about, which is the current state assessment. If you want to know more about that, then we can organize an entire session around it.
So see you in the next webinar. Thank you.